Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Bava Batra, pages 166 through 172, Kuf Samech Vav through Kuf Ayin Bet. 166. Amar Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, Hamaon Hazeh, I swear, he says, Imalin halayla, if I will sleep tonight, Bidinarim, if I don't drop the price of the bird offerings in the Beit HaMikdash substantially. Now what happened? The women who had births or had experienced a zava situation of an irregular flow, they were obligated to bring sacrificial offerings to the temple, bird offerings, and the expense would add up if there were multiple occurrences. People who lived far from the temple didn't go all that often. Had multiple births. Do they have to bring korbanot for each and every time, or does one suffice? Nichnas lebeit midrash. He entered into the court and said, if you have a woman who had 5 definite births, she brings 1 set of sacrifices, and she can eat sacrificial meat at that point. And she has no further obligation. That initially it was thought she could eat the zvachim at that point, but she also has further obligation to satisfy, but that's financially injurious. So he said, no, you wipe the slate clean. And at that point, the price of the bird offerings dropped down to 1% of their original price. So he accomplished his goal of making Judaism financially livable for the people by reducing the scope of the burden of korbanot on the birth mothers. 167. We only write the documents concerning erusin, betrothal, and nisuin, full marriage, which were financial considerations, unless we only write them if both parties agree to it. If one of the 2 parties is not there or has not shown their consent, then we don't write these documents. Who pays the scribe for producing these drafts? The answer is the groom, the chatan. 168. What happens if you had a document that says somebody owes you money, and it's getting erased? Over time, the ink dries out, and it's hardly visible anymore. You bring witnesses who testify to the content of the document, and the court will make a kiyum. They'll reestablish the document. And they'll announce so and so had a document and it was being erased, and these are the identity of the witnesses. And lo and behold, his fears of not being able to collect on money that is owed to him are reduced because he had this court session which worked in his favor, which was mekayem, to strengthen and reinvigorate the money that was owed to him. 169. Rashbag Omer, if you give a gift to your friend, and the friend gives back the document. So this was a gift that involved writing on paper, such and such assets are now going to so-and-so, and he rejects the document. What happens? The gift is now no longer a gift. It's reversed, and the original owner is back again being the owner of the assets. That's what Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel's position. Chachamim, or as the sages say, no. The gift is still a gift. The recipient still has the stuff. My Talmud Rashbag. So why does Rashbag say the gift is reversed? Because it's like a person says, you have my field so long as this document is in your hands. Once this document is no longer in your hands, then you don't have my field. And that's why in the view of Rashbag, the gift is no longer a gift, and the recipient has nothing. 170. Misha Parab Chovo, a person who paid off part of his debt. What do you do now? So the lender had a document that says, Johnny owes me $100, but Johnny paid $30 and now only owes $70. So if the lender were to keep the document, he might be able to collect twice over on part of the debt, which wouldn't be kosher, wouldn't be good. Nobody wants that. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Yachali, from Yehuda says, we got to write a new one, replace the old one. Rabbi Yossi Mechtav Shover, as Rabbi Yossi says, no, we don't write a new document of the loan. We give a receipt concerning part of that amount of money, to the borrower. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't like that. I don't like the idea of write a receipt. Then the borrower has to hold on to the receipt and make sure that the mice don't eat it and he doesn't lose it. Amar lo Rabbi Yossi. So Rabbi Yossi's response is, it's better this way. Because who has the upper hand? The lender has the upper hand. The borrower is indebted to the lender. So when it comes to the burden of the paperwork, who has to be worried about not losing something, will put the onus on the borrower, not on the lender. 171. What happens if you have a document that says it was dated on Shabbos, when you're not supposed to be writing documents, or the 10th of Tishrei, which is Yom Kippur, when you're not supposed to be writing documents? Is this a fraud? Was this real? How do we deal with this? So, Shtar Ma'ucharhu v'Kasher. The first opinion says this is a post-dated document. The events in question actually happened the day before, 2 days before, whatever it is, and they just happened to write a date, which was an absurd date, on the piece of paper, but it's a post-dated document and it's kosher. So says Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi posel. Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's invalid. We don't assume anything other than what appears on the page. And it appears on the page, it was a Shabbos or Yom Kippur, which couldn't have possibly happened. So the whole thing is fake. Not a valid document. 172. Shnei achim. There were two brothers. Echad ani ve'echad ashir. One is rich and one is poor. And the father left behind in the estate a bathhouse, olive press, asan l'schar, sar ch'lemsa. If these were meant to be rented out, then you rent it out, and each brother gets half the rental income. However, if they were not meant to be rented out, rather to be used for the benefit of the family, the rich guy can tell the poor guy, oh, you can use the bathhouse and you can use the olive press. Just get for yourself a whole bunch of servants and they'll use the bathhouse and it'll be worth your while. Or get some olives and you use the olive press. Now, the reality is the poor guy has no servants. He has no use for the bathhouse. He has no olive trees and therefore no use for the olive press. So this is a bit of an absurdity. But the point that the Gemara is making is that the rich brother has a right to say, we're going to continue to use our assets, the family assets, in the manner in which they were used before. That you, the other guy, the poor brother, might not benefit from them is because of your circumstances, but you can't impose anything on us to sell them. Rather, we can keep them as is. Everyone have a great week.